Welcome back. Welcome to part 3 of the Dharma Yoga website series. In this video, we're going to create this 3-column and this 2-column section, and then the 3-column section below that as well with the 3 pictures, the text, and titles, as you see right here. Okay, so let's bring up the page that we left off in part 2. In our HTML and find where we left off in the HTML. So the last thing that we did was our slider, and before that was our banner wrapper, which the slider is nested in. So just above the end wrapper div, yet after the end banner wrapper, we want to write start icon title and text section. So this is going to be the first 3-column HTML section that we make. And then you can drop down and write a note or comment for end icon title text section. And then go up a line. The first thing that we'll write out is the section class, which is going to be a 1/3 section. So as you see here, we have 3 different sections aligned that make up 100% of the page. So we'll just call it section class 1/3. So 1-3rd, and then drop down and close the section. So inside of the section, we're going to start with a TD tag, which stands for table data. So the table data tag is just going to give us more power when we style it in the CSS, because we have limited style for the icon that we'll use. Now to reference the icon, the font awesome icon, we're going to use an italic tag called I and then class, and then we'll give it the font class for the first icon, which is FA-connect develop, and then you can close the italic tag. So some people might argue that the italic tag isn't the best thing to use. It's kind of obsolete, but this is how Font Awesome references the icons, so I just go with it. So now if you refresh, you'll see the first little icon down in the lower left hand corner, which is the connect develop icon. Okay, so let's drop down and add the heading tag that you see underneath the icon here. So this is going to be the largest of the headings that we use on the page. And in that case, we'll go with H1, which is the largest heading. So write H1, and inside of our H1 tag will be a visionary. And then refresh, and we'll have the H1 tag below. Okay? So next will be the little text section, as you see here. Now this text section is going to have a little bit of indentation. So we want to write P style text indent 3%. So this is an internal style that we're adding. We could make a paragraph class and reference it later, but we're only going to be using the same text indent percentage on a few different things, and then we'll add a larger text indent down below. So I decided to do an internal style rather than a class and reference it later in the CSS. So our text will say, expand your horizons with Dharma Yoga. Join us and become a visionary. Okay, so refresh, and we'll have the paragraph below with a little indentation off to the left. I'm just going to create some space here to make it appear in the center of the page so we're not looking at the very bottom of the video. So let's add our second section class 1/3 here. And I'm just going to correct this. So section class 1-3rd, and make sure you've closed it out. And then you can drop down and we'll add another table data tag. And inside of that will be nested the icon tag for the italic tag for the icon. So write iClass, and this icon is called Sky Atlas. So you want to write FA Sky Atlas. Now the FA is just how Font Awesome references their icons. That we don't really have any control over the class. Okay, so there's the Sky Atlas icon, and then let's add the next header 1, or heading 1, which is called Get Focused. By the way, we don't need to write this in all caps. We're going to change that later in the CSS. So don't worry about putting it in all caps right now. And then just add the paragraph tag with the style text indent 3%. And close the style out. Okay, and this one is called, this one says, train your body, mind, and spirit to focus on bettering yourself time and time again. Okay, and let's drop down to create the next section class 1/3. Which will be the last of the section classes for the icon, title, and text section. So make sure you've closed out this section class, and then you can add your heading 1 tag. But first let's go up one because I skipped the icon. So again, write table data, or TD, and then So iClass, and this one's going to be called FA globe for the globe icon. Okay, so come around and refresh, and there's the little globe at the bottom of the screen here. And here's the large one. And then our heading 1 will be worldly. Now let's add the last paragraph for this 3-column section. So you want to write P style text indent 3% again. And then write learn cultures and teachings from yogis around the world. Be one with the earth. Okay, so now let's drop down and start the 2-column section. So if we remind ourselves, we're going to start with this heading 2 tag first, and then we'll go to the different 2 columns here, the left and the right. Let's just add a div class clearfix though to separate the sections. Okay, so once you've done that, drop down and create a note for yourself or comment. I'm going to call this Start Heading Text Image Section. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then you can drop down and end the heading text image section. Okay, so now let's create this h2 tag. So this is actually going to be a little different from some other h2s that we'll have in the website. So we're going to give this h2 a class. So let's call it h2 class welcome for the welcome message. And the welcome message will say, welcome to Dharma Yoga, comma, connect with us, period. And this again, you don't need to worry about the capitalization because we're going to do that in the CSS. Okay, so refresh, and then we have the heading 2 below. So let's drop down and start this left column, which is going to take up close to 2/3 of the page. This we'll make out of a section tag, and we'll give it a class called left-col for column. So the left column is mainly going to consist of 2 paragraphs. So we have the first up here, and then the second, both of which will have some text indentation. So you just want to write p style, and in this case we're going to give it a text indent of 6% rather than 3% above. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment to just write everything out here. So there's the indent, which is twice the amount of the text above. So we want to write, are you ready to take your mind, body, and spiritual being to the next level and advance horizons you thought may never be possible for yourself? Question mark. Okay. So refresh, and we have the paragraph below. Now drop down a line and we'll add the next paragraph, which will have the same style of text indent 6%. Okay, so now let's write out the longest of our text sections here. So write, we at Dharma Yoga have the experience and wisdom to improve upon the skills and enlightenment of yoga enthusiasts, no matter how long or little. You have been active and practicing. Okay, and then lastly, our goal is to establish a long-lasting connection with our clients and class participants. A long-lasting connection with our clients and class participants who we'd like to navigate through the ups and downs life brings with a spiritual ease. And refresh, and there's the long paragraph. Okay, so below that, we're going to add the same heading that we did above for the 3 columns here, which is called, we're going to call advance to the next level. So this is going to be a heading 1 tag. Okay, so advance to the next level. And refresh, and there we have the heading 1 below. Okay, so now let's do the right column section. So we're going to call this, since it's about the width of a sidebar, we're just going to call the section holding this image here sidebar. And then drop the closing of the tag down, and inside of the sidebar we're going to have an image. So write img src for image source, and then quotations http://www.w3newbie.com/wp-content/uploads, and then this one is going to be called yoga_mountains.png. Okay, and then close the image tag out. So if we refresh and you come over and you take a look at the picture, it's going to look a little different from the finished version here. So later in the CSS, we're going to add something called opacity that gives it a little blur effect to mesh with the background, the whitish, off-white background. So that, I think, will draw more attention to the text. If we left it at the at the full opacity of the picture, when we look at the finished version of the website, there's too much attention drawn to the picture, and it doesn't really even out with the text, if you catch my drift. So let's add a clear fix, and then below we'll add the second 3-column section. So this we'll just call start So this is going to be title, image, text. And it's going to be about the same as this, at least in the sections, because they're all section class 1/3. So let's call it start title, image, text. And drop down and you can end the start end the title, image, text section. Okay, and as I said, this is going to consist of the 1/3 section classes, just as we had above here. So section class 1/3. And we'll start with a heading tag. If you remember, we have the outdoor stretching heading up here, and that's going to be the first of this overall section. So this is going to be a H3 tag, and we'll want to write outdoor stretching. Okay, so refresh and we'll have the H3 tag below the picture, the mountain picture. And this is a little smaller than the other headings used in the sections here. Okay, so next let's add the image. So drop down a line and we'll do another image tag. So write image source. And this will be the same W3 newbie WP content uploads. So the same URL, but we're going to add yoga_stretch.png. And then refresh. And we did something wrong. I did something wrong. So I added an E in here. www.w3newbie.com is wrong. And that's it. Okay, refresh, and there's the stretch image. Okay, now let's add this paragraph section. So this is just going to be a standard paragraph tag. We're not going to have any text indentation in this. So just write P, and then inside of the tag we'll type out this info here. So enjoy nature and take in the beautiful surroundings with our yogis. And stretching outdoors with our state-of-the-art yoga mats, if there's such a thing. Okay, and then we can refresh. And there's the paragraph below. Okay, so let's go down to the next section class, which is also going to be a section class 1/3. And add the H3 once more, this time writing yoga classes. Okay, and then let's add the image. So again, use the same URL up to the point of yoga underscore. This one will be yoga underscore class for classes dot png. Okay, and refresh. And there is the yoga class image. So let's add the next text section here, which says see our classes page for a full list of our yoga classes. And our instructors will work with you to find our instructors will work with you to find you the class that most meets your goals. Or goals. And period. And then if we go back and refresh, we'll have the text section below. Okay, so let's go and add the last of this title image text section. So write one more section class 1/3. And then the heading 3 tag. This one is going to be called private sessions. And then the image so www.w3newbie.com WP content uploads. This one is going to be yoga underscore private dot png. Okay. And then we can add the last paragraph section, which says schedule a private session with us, or schedule a private session with one of our experienced yogis schedule a private session with one of our experienced yogis who will join you for a personal yoga experience at the destination of your choice or of your choosing. And refresh, and we'll have the last of this section right here completed. Okay. Oh, I messed something up with the image here. Let's see. I forgot the W. Well, it's in the wrong spot. Okay, so refresh and we should have the beach picture here. Okay, so here's the beach picture, and that concludes the main sections, the 2 and 3 column sections. So in the next video, what we're going to do is add the callout with the button right here, and then the footer, and conclude the entire HTML series of this tutorial before we move on to the CSS. I will see you in part 4.